Hey everyone, welcome back to my vinyl collection, and today we're talking about Light Up the Dark by Gabrielle Aplin. So this is actually a signed copy of her record, and it is her second album, her first album being English Rain, and I can tell straight away there is definitely a very striking black and white colour scheme going on, and it's very dark as well, because if you compare it to your first album, which was black and white as well, it is a lot brighter, it's not as dark, and also it's a bit more cheerful and a bit, I guess, vibrant in a way, because there's a use of colour in the umbrella on that album cover. But this one, it's a lot more serious, and I think that's also reflected in her pose as well, and I think all of this is adding towards the idea that this is a slight change, a slight shift in her music, and it just gives you like a hint towards the fact that it is slightly different to her first album. And as you can see, it's very dark, but on the back you get like this extended arm going on. It is a gatefold, so you do open up and you get a bit more artwork inside, or photos even. And also, with these photos, as as gorgeous as she looks, it does look very like modelish, if you know what I mean. It's very like as if it's taken as if she's posing for like for a magazine or something. But I mean, I guess all of that, there's a sense of attitude towards it. There's a maybe not aggression, but there's definitely an extra layer more to her character. It's not as 2D. It's definitely a very three-dimensional sort of persona. And on the back you get your 12-song track list over here, and so it's 3 songs on each side because it's double LP. And apart from that, let's take a look inside. So you do get 2 records in here, and also, by the way, before I move on to actual records, these are actually really well made. I don't know about everybody else's versions of these, but it just feels really made to measure, because I have other LPs which just doesn't quite close properly, or it's just a little bit funny, but this one is very much like a book, and as you can see, it's just really well made, and the inner sleeves with the records actually come out very easily, and doesn't get stuck at all, so that's actually quite good about this version, or at least this release. And I hope other manufacturers learn from this and actually make properly good ones. Anyway, you do get 2 records in here, like I said before, and there's no dedicated lyric sheet. The lyrics are printed on, and again it carries on the same colour scheme as the cover, as overall artwork, and with the text being quite elegant and formal, and a bit serious even. And again, it's just very, has that kind of tone where it's like saying, it is a bit different to the first one, and this is what you're going to be in store for. Anyway, so even these inner sleeves are actually very well made in terms of taking the vinyl out. It doesn't get stuck at all. There's no static, so that's brilliant. And it's stronger, by the way, because it's like this card with a nice texture to it. So it's not like your crappy paper sleeve that you get in every typical record. But anyway. So this is what you get. It is a 12-inch white LP with 3 tracks on each side at 45 RPM. And anyway, let's talk about the vinyl. So in terms of design of the vinyl, I think it's very fitting with the overall colour scheme, and there's not much you can go wrong with this. It feels like a very large version of Paris's acoustic EP on vinyl as well, because the second pressing was white, and it's like just a giant version of it. But anyway, yeah, it's just, again, as I usually say, it might have been quite nice if maybe, let's say, one side was white and this side was black, and the label on the black side was white and sort of inverted, basically. But then again, that's just me. I guess that's more complicated and might look a bit funny when you hold it against the light, but I don't know. I guess there's loads of complication, like logistics behind it, which don't quite work to the way I want it to, but this is still really good and I can't really complain. So as for the album, I really like it, but not as much as I do for the first album, because English Rain was just beautiful. I guess it's a very perfect sort of introduction to what she's like as a musician, doing her own songs in a full studio length album, because I started watching her when she was doing her YouTube videos, and I mean, she's like one of my inspirations in a way, because I started playing guitar way back in 2009, sort of 8 or 9, and also discovered her channel by then, and that's when she was still doing covers. And to get to this point now when she's like a fully fledged artist, it means a lot to me, and I'm really proud of her, and I'm glad that she's done this and is able to bring out 2 albums, and like, it's just a huge achievement. But anyway, yeah, so obviously the album's within the genres of like indie, rock and pop, with a sense of like baroque pop introduced as well, with elements of like classical and sort of like artistic sort of tones to it. So some favourite tracks would be, I guess, A While is one of my favourite. I think that might be my absolute favourite from the album. Mainly because it's like the really nice piano song, and I just love her vocals, and it just reminds me of the song Salvation from her first album, which was absolutely amazing. It's just again, I keep using this phrase, just hauntingly beautiful. It's a phrase I keep using for a lot of bands, but when you hear the way she sings, and it comes up with all these bizarre images in your mind, like just something very relaxing about it, and yet just like haunting and just atmospheric. And this album, this song, A While, does that as well. And also I had the pleasure of seeing her play it live, maybe not for the first time, but at Wilton's Music Hall last year, last summer, 2015. And that's the first time I actually saw her play properly. And she played a bunch of all these new songs, and it just, it was just a pleasure for her to do that and to see her perform. I guess another favourite song would be Fool's Love. Again, hearing that for the first time in Wilton's Music Hall was just really like striking towards me, because just the way they introduced the song, the beginning of the song with those vocals, those effects, and it's just very different to anything she's done before. And I think that's really brave and actually quite bold of her to do that, and I'm really proud of her for choosing to introduce those elements into it. And another favourite would be obviously Light Up the Dark. That's her single, and it's just a very beautiful, well, a very great, smart way to introduce, the fans and potential fans to her new album. It's a very, good, safe track to release, because it kind of combines all the elements of that album into one song in a way, and it just, here's what you're in store, here's what you're in for, and yeah, that's a good track as well. And just overall, a very, it's just, I guess it's quite different to the music I usually listen to, which is great, because I like listening to all sorts of music, and as long as I think it's great, that's absolutely fine. And I'm so glad that she's one of them. And just a little bit of history with why I like her and the way and her music is because, again, way back when I started playing guitar, I discovered her on YouTube, and back when she was just doing covers, and then, over time she just became this incredible artist, and having to see her live twice, so once in Wilton's Music Hall in London, and then in Rescue Rooms in Nottingham during my time studying there. And it was just great to see her play, and I always want to see her play again, because I really appreciate how much she's, I guess, inspired me to take on this kind of side project career in a way, of writing songs and covering songs and doing anything on YouTube even. So yeah, I do owe a lot to her, and I wish I could say thanks to her if I ever do meet her one day. So that was my review and unboxing video for Gabrielle Aplin's Light Up the Dark. So that's her second album. And again, if you guys like, acoustic sort of music or indie folk, baroque sort of stuff, definitely check her out. And don't just check out this album, check out her first album, English Rain. That's a really good one. And also her YouTube covers and her YouTube videos in general, because she's a very talented musician and incredible singer, and she deserves, as much attention as she can get, because she's just incredible. And also, thank you so much for watching. If you want to subscribe, please do. If you don't want to, you don't have to bother, but oh god, my computer. Anyway, yeah, because again, if you subscribe, it would mean a lot to me, because it just means so much that people even care about what I do and actually watch my stuff here. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time, so see ya.